Greetings from Father Isidore Clark on this, the 18th Sunday of Ordinary Time. Today's Gospel is about Jesus miraculously feeding 5,000 people. That presents us with an agonizing problem. We're told of Christ's compassion for the hungry multitude of people who'd been listening to him. Instead of sending them home, he miraculously multiplied a few loaves and fishes. Not only was their hunger satisfied, but there was a large surplus, enough to fill 12 baskets. This miracle raises a question: if God could miraculously feed a few thousand who were hungry but not starving, why doesn't he come to the rescue of those many people who are literally dying for lack of food and water? If he so chose, God could certainly miraculously provide everyone with all that he or she needed, with plenty to spare. So why doesn't he? Does he not care about them and their basic needs? Of course he does. But before tackling this problem and trying to find God's solution to it, let's first look at the main purpose of the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000. Although Jesus certainly had compassion on their physical hunger, that here was not his principal concern. This miracle was meant to prepare the way for his satisfying a far deeper need, a much greater hunger, that for spiritual nourishment, so that we can develop and grow as his followers. Firstly, he nourishes us with his teaching at what is called the banquet of wisdom. But much more than that, the feeding of the 5,000 prepares us for a far more wonderful meal, at which Jesus would nourish us with his own body and blood. This he gives to us what appears to be bread and wine. This he offers to us in the sacrificial meal of the Mass. In the sacred meal of the Mass, our crucified and risen Lord nourishes us with his own very person. By sharing in the Mass and receiving Holy Communion, our union with God and each other is expressed and strengthened. The feeding of the 5,000 was meant to prepare us to welcome God, satisfying our deepest hunger to share his own divine life and happiness. But what about the problem we began with? Why doesn't God feed those who are physically starving? Today's Gospel points us to an answer to this question. When the disciples told Jesus that people were hungry, he didn't follow their advice and send them away. Instead, he told them, "Don't send them home, you feed them." He then told them to share with the crowd the food that was already available. That's the way God usually helps us and answers our prayers. Not by performing miracles while we sit back and let him do all the work. No, he gets us involved to work with him and for him. God acts through us and with us. We are his hands and feet, his spokesman. Now he inspires us, his people, to express his love and compassion. And he has provided us with the means to do so, the intelligence and skills to develop and cultivate a fertile world ever more efficiently. This gospel urges those of us who have to share with those who have not. That is both a matter of justice and also compassion. The Gospel also draws our attention to the surplus food which Jesus would not allow to be thrown away. Most, if not all of us, are guilty of wastage. Perfectly good food is destroyed because it has a few harmless blemishes, or perhaps is a bit misshaped. So there's a simple answer as to why God doesn't feed all the starving people in the world. The answer is that he has made us custodians not only of his creation and the fruits of the earth which it produces, but also their fair distribution to our fellow human beings. They, our brothers and sisters, appealing to us in their need. Christ identified with them in their need and said that whatever we did or did not do for them, we did or did not do for him. He would treat us the same way as we had treated him in the needy. That should bring us up with a jolt and move us to action.